All right, everybody, welcome back to the broadcast. And today we're going to be taking a look at something that I think is really important, and that is what happened at King's High School and Junior High.
Yeah, the lockdown situation.
Yeah, so we're going to break this down for you, kind of show you what happened and how both the school and the police responded to it.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk a little bit about this thing called swatting, which is becoming a bigger and bigger problem every day.
Right.
So I think that when you first hear about something like this, it's easy to write it off as, kids being kids and it's just a prank. But the reality is that this is much more serious than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely disruptive. And I think one of the things that gets lost in the shuffle is just the amount of terror that it causes. Whether you're a student or a teacher or even a parent, receiving that alert.
Right.
The idea that something like that is going on in your school is absolutely terrifying. And I think that sometimes we gloss over that part of it.
Oh, for sure.
Before we even get into the wasted resources and things like that.
Exactly. I think one of the biggest things that people don't realize is the amount of resources that are wasted that could be being used for actual issues.
Yeah.
There's police officers and paramedics and all of these people that are responding to a fake threat that takes them away from real threats.
Yeah. It basically puts the whole system in disarray.
For sure.
And, you start to think about, what would lead somebody to even want to do this in the first place? Like what would make someone think this is a good idea? And we'll talk a little bit about the psychology of that, but it's just mind-boggling to me that you would even consider doing something like this.
Well, it's a lot about like control, or notoriety. People want to feel like they have control over something or they want to get
attention
and recognition. And a lot of times they'll video it and post it online. So it's really scary. And
it gets into this problem we have today of just, this spread of misinformation, and a single false report can spread like wildfire, especially online. And that can cause just a tremendous amount of panic and
real harm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of circles back to what happened at King's High. And, do we have any information about how the school and the police actually responded to it once they got the report?
Yeah, so from the reports that I've read, it seems like they took the proper precautions.
Right.
They followed all the proper protocol for lockdown and all of that.
Right.
And law enforcement was able to very quickly assess the situation and determine that it was a hoax.
Right.
So they responded really well.
Yeah, and that's great to hear. And it seems like they were prepared for something like this, which is good. But, at the end of the day, it doesn't really solve the problem. It doesn't answer that question of how do we stop this from happening in the first place? And it's going to take a lot more than, just us talking about it here. But hopefully it starts a conversation, and gets people thinking about it. And, maybe that's the first step.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So we're going to wrap things up there, and we will see you next time for another broadcast.
See ya.